Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for joining me today for a quick pickups video. I'm actually on the road in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., which is depicted on this recent card that I purchased for my buddy Dan over at Old Sarge Collects. Took a little road trip down there with Mrs. Shoebox Legends just to get some R&R and time away from the laptops and hopefully some nice weather. But while I'm gone, I've filmed this to put up on the episode here, just featuring some stuff that I've grabbed really all in the last maybe month or so. It's been a very, very busy stretch for me here, so I'm behind on creating content, organizing my collection, and watching all of your great videos. But let's just get into some pickups here. Got a few hockey cards to start us off, and then we're going to move into baseball to finish. Landed this one, which I'm fairly sure is a duplicate, but this is the great Ron Francis, former Hartford Whaler, the best Hartford Whaler of all time, depicted here with the Carolina Hurricanes later in his career. And it's an Upper Deck Exclusives parallel, numbered to 100 on the back, copy 87 of 100 here. This is significant for a couple of reasons. First of all, he's number 5 all time in career points in the NHL. In the history of the league, just does not get enough hobby love. And this is also the first year that they did this parallel, all the way back in 1998. So, I picked this up for $12 with free shipping. And so, I would buy every version of this Ron Francis card that surfaced at that price point. That's crazy. And we're going to put Ron up in the background because that's going to have a tie to a hockey card that we're going to look at to finish out the hockey section of today's video. So next up, got this Nick Lidstrom exclusives. Got a little run of these. Again, I'm always looking for this particular parallel going all the way back to 1998. This one is about 12 years into the run from around 2010 and one of the best defensemen all time. I thought it was great that the seller sent this Red Wings card in a very appropriate red top loader. And Lidstrom, he's right there with Steve Yzerman as being like the franchise guy that you think of, at least me anyway. Gordie Howe's up there. When you think of the Detroit Red Wings. Played his entire career with the team, and because defensemen get no love, this card was insanely cheap. I got this for $6 with free shipping, and I joked to a friend at the time of the pickup that I paid less dollars for this card than the number of Norris trophies that Lidstrom won for being the best defender in the NHL. So that's kind of crazy to think about. And, for $20 shipped or even a little bit under that, to get one of the best offensive and one of the best defensive players in league history on the same parallel. I thought that was just a solid couple of additions to my collection. And then these next couple, I stopped by we'll call it a dead mall in the town in Massachusetts that I used to live in for about 5 years before I moved down here to Rhode Island. Was passing through the area, and I thought it might be kind of funny, if not depressing, to pop in and see what kind of state the mall was in. Really sad state of affairs. Most of the stores closed. Looks like it's kind of falling into a state of disrepair. But there was one small sports memorabilia and hobby shop that I found on the first floor. Does not look like it's an ideal place to be running that type of business. And I noticed they had a few cases of cards out. And even though I didn't really see anything that struck my eye, I did decide to try to spend like maybe $20 just to kind of give this person a little bit of business, since I do enjoy the hobby. And I found 2 hockey singles in his case that I ended up picking up. First of all, this Mark Messier from 84-85 O-Pee-Chee. I did not pay $10 for this. There was a little bit of wiggle room that the seller had on these. Drives me nuts that this is in a top loader with no penny sleeve. That's kind of crazy to me, but I'll fix that as soon as the video is done here. Didn't even pay $8 for this. I think I paid about $6 after we negotiated for a couple of minutes. So nice card there. And, like Ron Francis, one of the best players in the history of the league on the offensive side of the game, and a player who I admire tremendously. And again, was, not necessarily seeking out this card, but it was one of the more interesting options in the case. This guy's display cases looked like they came out of, the mid-90s in a time machine. There was a lot of like junk wax era cards that, I know are worth probably a quarter or less that were, in top loaders with like a $2 or $3 asking price. But I thought that Messier was fair. And then I found this one to go with it about Cam Neely, and I'll take this out. I did pay $4 for this one, but I don't think that's a terrible price because it's a first day issue parallel. You can see that nice hologram there, holographic foil. Big fan of this particular parallel across both hockey and baseball. This card has some wear on it. You know, it's not really in the greatest shape, but supposedly the print runs on these were around 2000. And this was really just a nostalgia purchase because that parallel takes me right back to my childhood. Had so much fun in like summer of 93, summer of 94, chasing those, especially on the baseball side of the house with my baseball collecting friends. And then the other thing I got at the hobby shop, he had these hanger boxes of 2022 Heritage Baseball for $9.95. I did pay $10 for this. He had some other modern retail blasters and other stuff as well, but wasn't looking to spend too much money. And I don't really expect to pull anything out of this, but I'll just stick it on the pack shelf for a rainy day in the future. And it is the Aaron Judge year, of course, so who knows, maybe something cool would come out of that down the line. And then I got just a quick pair of hockey cards, and then we'll move into baseball to finish it off. And these are one of the reasons I left that Ron Francis up in the background. So fans of the NHL will know that recently the Coyotes, formerly the Phoenix, and then I think the Arizona Coyotes franchise out there in the desert, has folded up shop, and they are moving to Utah for the coming season. And while I think that's probably best for the league and the team, I really feel for the fans in Arizona that love NHL hockey. They really got, pardon my French, but they got screwed pretty badly by their owners. And just an unfortunate circumstance for the folks trying to support that team out there. And I can very much relate because Ron Francis and trading him away from the Hartford Whalers was sort of the beginning of the demise of that beloved franchise, which I followed fervently as a kid hockey player and fan growing up in Connecticut. So I have some sense of what the folks in Arizona are feeling. And to be honest with you, while I've never been into Coyotes cards all that much, while they were an active team, seeing this transpire with their franchise and the sympathy that I have towards their fans got me a little bit more interested. And I picked up a pair of cards of the player who's really the most notable in the history of their franchise, in my opinion, from a set that I love as well. And so here's the first one. These are from 2013-14 Panini Prism. And let me just take this card out of its case here so we can really, truly appreciate it in all of its glory. This is the Shane Doan Red Prism. Check out this etching on this card. They do not make shiny cards like this today, over 10 years later. I've shown this set plenty of times on the history of this channel, but I wanted to get this red Prism Shane Doan. It's a great color match for that red Coyotes sweater here, which I love. And he is the guy for that franchise, at least as far as offense goes. If you look up their career leaders, he is topping just about every statistical category. And he is the player that I think of when I think of the Coyotes. So I got 2 Doan cards to form kind of a small little tribute to him and the demise of that team. Joining this plain red Prism, I also picked up the red Pulsar Prism. And again, this case is not doing this card a lot of justice. So let's take a look at it in all of its glory. Obviously a team color match, just like the last one, but this also has that wild pulsar effect traversing the top of the card. So really cool. These are not expensive. Doan is not a Hall of Famer, and I think very few people probably are collecting the Coyotes, but to me, they're a great representation now in my collection of that franchise that was. And for both of these combined with shipping, the grand total was well under $5. So just, $1 or $2 each. And I thought those were fun additions. And now let's close it out with baseball. Picked up a couple of buyback cards. I'm always on the lookout for those if you've been by the channel with any frequency. Got a member here of the Black Aces, the starting pitchers, the black starting pitchers who have won 20 games or more in a season at the major league level. Earl Wilson is in that club, and I was really happy to find this 2020 Topps Heritage box topper buyback of his 71 Topps release here with the San Diego Padres. Just a really cool card. And we'll see if this one makes my Franken set at card number 301 or slot number 301. Of course, this is getting a little bit late in his career at this point, but it does reference on the back of this his 22-win 1967 season. So pretty cool. And then the other buyback I have to go with it, this guy's a Hall of Famer. This is from the most recent Topps Heritage release, also a box topper buyback, Phil Niekro. Now, I've shown a couple of common players from this, maybe in the last month or so, and I just mentioned that, the Stars and Hall of Famers have been pretty rough, but in this case, I was able to get Niekro here for under $10 with free shipping. And again, just love those Heritage box topper buybacks. And then another type of card that I feel like I've been showing quite a bit recently and just continue to be on the hunt for, I should say, the Independence Day parallel from Topps in the flagship baseball set. Started all the way back in the year 2018, still around this year, so it seems like it's got a nice run building. And it also seemed like a fitting way to close out an episode that I began with talking about our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. So as I'm down in D.C., let's look at a pair of horizontal Independence Day cards that I have recently landed, including one from the not brand new, but the most recent 2024 Topps flagship release. This is the Angels team card. And now this is terrible, but the seller shipped this in a top loader with no penny sleeve. So I'm going to save this card here, get it out of the top loader, and I will give it its proper protection at the end of the episode. And I wanted to take it out anyway because this is one of my first looks at a 2024 Independence Day card. So these are numbered to 76 every year, but the design changes year to year. And as most collectors know who are into baseball or who collect these parallels in particular, the last 2 or 3 years has been a little bit weak. I think these looked really good in 2018, 2019, and even 2020. Less so over the second 3 years of the run. But these 2024s look magnificent. You have the stars and the stripes, and it truly is a flag in the background there. And then there's a little bit of like a metallic tint and like shimmer that is applied to the blue and the red in particular in the border. And I really, really dig that effect. Being a huge, fan of these parallels across all years, I'm really, really relieved and happy to see Topps, treat them properly with a really nice design here in 2024. And I hope that's a sign of things to come. Got this Angels team card. I don't buy many of these, but talked about it a while back. I think I showed the Topps black version. But I love that on the back of this, for both offense and pitching, the only player listed for the team is Shohei Ohtani. I think that's a great sign of the times. A buddy of mine, JL, taught me about this card in the back, and tracked down, a few versions since, and was happy to save this from someone who clearly doesn't know how to take proper care of their sports cards, putting this in a top loader only. So one of the 76 copies of this has been rescued and will join my ever-growing Independence Day collection. And then finally, to close it out, I got a graded Independence Day card. Now, this is from 2023, so it's a design that I don't think is as effectively done as this one, as I mentioned, but it's a player I love, and more importantly, a price point I couldn't pass up. Check it out. I got this Raffy Devers with a great bat flip image here. You can tell he just went yard. And this is already graded by PSA, received a fine 9, and I kid you not, I won this at open auction for $12. Now, Devers has started to get hot and kind of turn his season around, which I knew he would. He's very streaky, but is the guy for the Red Sox right now, and to me, that is an absolute bargain price for a 2023 Devers Independence Day card. I do have a few other Devers indies like this parallel, but was lacking the 2023, and was keeping an eye on it. Went up at 99 cents starting bid, and was absolutely shocked and appalled to win this, for $12 and change, even with shipping and tax, well under 20 bucks. And that might be the most satisfying Devers card that I've added to my collection this year. But it definitely is the final card in today's episode. So there you go, some in absentia pickups while I'm on my road trip here. Hope everybody's enjoying the hobby. I'll be back soon, and until then, take care.